iOS 17 released its first public beta last July 12th, but before its actual release date, we would like to talk about the comparison of Apple iOS 16 versus the latest Android OS. Apple has made a lot of changes and upgrades, especially in their UI design and wallpaper customization since the last 3 years. Some of their changes are not even a new concept for Android users. Samsung, for example, has a feature that can change the whole theme of their phone and customize other widgets without actually needing to download third-party apps. It's no secret that Android and iOS have been at each other's throats for a long time, but as both systems evolved, the gap between them has narrowed. Today, we look at how far these two have come while comparing the two tech systems and what each of these has to offer us. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. We are the Modern Day Geeks, and today we are going to talk about iOS 16 versus Android 13. So without further ado, let's take a look. Maybe you are here because you're deciding what phone you should get next, an Android or an iPhone. Or maybe because you just want to know who's better, or which tech has features that you need. Of course, the parallels between Android 13 and iOS 16 are striking in the modern world, where lock screens are more crucial than ever. Historically, lock screens have been the portal via which we enter our digital world, allowing us instant access to notifications, saving us valuable time. Additionally, lock screens allowed individuals an avenue of creative expression through personalization. With iOS 16, Apple has taken this concept to a whole new level. You may now customize the look of your lock screen whenever the mood strikes by changing the wallpaper, typeface, and widgets. A compelling depth effect has also been added. The time has been skillfully hidden under the subjects on your wallpaper of choice. Not to mention, widgets on the iPhone lock screen are revolutionary because they make it possible to get useful information quickly and easily. Everything you need to know, from future appointments and battery life to alarms, time zones, and activity ring progress, is right at your fingertips. Apple's clever focus mode goes even further by letting you shuffle between several sorts of widgets and wallpapers on your lock screen, turning it into a productivity powerhouse in addition to a personal statement. What more do you need, right? Now, when it comes to Android, it seems like the company is taking a comparatively simpler approach. It's true that widgets on the lock screen have been abandoned by Google and that there is no font customization choices in the default installation of Android. There's still a wonderful exception if we look at One UI, a version of Android utilized by some manufacturers like Samsung. What we really mean is that the customizable lock screen in One UI allows for the addition of widgets and the modification of fonts. Stock Android, on the other hand, keeps things straightforward. You see, Google's Material You theming is the main customization option for Android. This clever theming engine exceeds Apple in a significant way. Colors from your background are automatically extracted and applied to your lock screen clock, as well as the rest of your system and programs like Gmail and Chrome. It's like having a personal shopper for your phone, making sure everything looks good and personalized to your liking. This means that there can only be a draw in the ultimate cosmic war between lock screens. It's all up to the individual, who can mold their virtual environment to their liking. While iOS provides a lot of options for personalization, Android is much more hands-off and automated. That said, the option to toggle language support per app is yet another intriguing new feature designed to meet the needs of customers who speak more than one language and involves both Android and Apple. For starters, Android users have had to wait until the most recent version to enjoy this functionality, despite its availability on iOS devices since iOS 13. And of course now, this update makes it possible to change the language settings for apps so that they can be used in languages other than the system's default. To understand it even better, let's take a closer look at how this functionality operates in each system. Now, if you're lucky enough to be using Android 13, which isn't very common, you can switch languages without leaving the app info screen. To access the app's details though, simply press and hold the icon for a few seconds until a menu appears. There, you'll find the option to change the language settings to your liking. While this is a welcome change, it's important to remember that the Android ecosystem is so vastly diverse that only a small percentage of devices even support Android 13. Apple's iOS, on the other hand, takes a slightly different track. To begin the process of switching languages, go into the System Preferences. Once you get there, you'll need to sift through the huge app catalog to find what you're looking for. Once you find it though, you'll then be able to flip between languages and enjoy the program in your language of choice. That said, it's important to remember that not all iOS and Android apps have included support for several languages, so there's that. And again, Android may have been a little late to the party, but it's quickly catching up, making it easy for users to select their preferred language. So, whether you're currently engrossed in Apple's iOS ecosystem or ready to explore the vastness of Android universe, you have the freedom to personalize your app experience in the language of your choosing. Meanwhile, the user interface of the media player is essential, as it is displayed to you while listening to music. So, here's a little spoiler for you. The media player in Android 13 appears to be more polished and aesthetically pleasing. That's right, the album cover art serves as the player's backdrop, and the player's play-pause buttons are colored to match the album cover. Exciting, right? Not to forget, the seek bar's subtle jiggling motion adds to the smooth aesthetic experience when playing music. A straight line represents the forthcoming section of the song, while a curved line represents the rest of the song's development. Then again, in iOS 16, the interface hasn't changed radically graphically, although several elements have been moved about. The media player alert now appears at the bottom of the lock screen like the rest of the alerts. Additionally, you may expand the album cover right in the middle of your lock screen by tapping on it, where the colors used in the background were taken directly from the album cover. Before we continue, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you like our content. Moving on, when you need to shut off all distractions and zero in on a certain job, Focus Mode is a godsend and is another feature that we will be comparing when it comes to Android and Apple. So for one, the feature has the same name on both Android and iOS, yet the two platforms take slightly different approaches to implementing it. In fact, Apple's version just received a major update with iOS 16. Actually, the iPhone's app Focus features discrete settings like Do Not Disturb, Driving, Personal, Sleep, and Work for users. These settings will then allow you to restrict incoming calls and notifications to a certain number of contacts and apps. Even further, Apple's solution lets you conceal non-essential app components in favor of showing only those that are relevant to your focus, such as a single mail or calendar account. At the same time, when you activate Android's Focus Mode, certain apps' icons will become gray, and they will be temporarily paused. This will also ensure that their notifications are concealed. Additionally, tapping the app will simply reveal that Focus Mode is active, with the option to disable it after 5 minutes. And for those of you who are not aware, the Focus Mode schedule is now shown in Android 13, and according to your preferences, this will be activated at a set time every day. Similarly, both operating systems have had text-to-speech functionality for quite some time, but this is not accurate enough until recently for people to consider abandoning typing altogether. For example, Android 12 on the Pixel 6 series brought some impressive new dictation tools, but Apple has now caught up with iOS 16. The process for initiating speech dictation is also the same, requiring only a press on the mic icon on the bottom right corner of your iOS keyboard or a tap on the speech bubble icon in the top right corner of Gboard on Android. Finally, privacy and security are the two most important features of software, and each year, both companies make strides toward making their operating systems more secure. You see, Android 13 allows you to restrict an app's media access to only the photographs and videos it actually requires. This feature was lifted wholesale from iOS, which itself was lifted from iOS 14 2 years ago. Still, any improvement to user privacy or security is welcome, regardless of where it came from. Next, Android 13 includes security measures to safeguard your clipboard from prying eyes. After a set amount of time, Android will purge the clipboard history of any copied sensitive data, such as an email address, phone number, or login credentials. Once again, there is no clipboard functionality on iOS, so this cannot be used. On the iOS side of things, passkeys in Safari are the newest enhancement to security in iOS 16. And again, if you don't already know about it, passkeys are biometric authentication methods that work with Touch ID or Face ID and iCloud Keychain to share encrypted access across many Apple devices. So, did either of these options win you over, or will you be taking a quiz to see which one is best? If you like this topic, how about you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel? And don't forget to hit the bell icon as well on our channel. We're the Modern Day Geeks, and we will see you in our next video.